I think the Windermere Cup is a secret weapon as far as preparation for the conference championship.
It's almost like a championship atmosphere without being a championship.
To be able to face off against an international team just 2 weeks before we go and square off against the rest of the Big Ten, it is the perfect situation for us to really sharpen all of the edges before we go.
It really helps you stay super competitive. You're competing against obviously great crews. There's a lot going on at Windermere, and when you get to Big Tens and then NCAAs, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of pressure. So being able to handle stressful conditions is really important.
We had Wisconsin come out last year, and Indiana came to the Windermere Cup this year. I think it's just incredibly special to be able to share this event with them.
Being in a new conference this year is super exciting, and it's so awesome that we get to see them in a race like Windermere Cup before our conference championships. Going into the Big Ten championships and NCAAs, we're just going to have to find a new level, and that's going to be helped by Indiana and New Zealand being here for the Windermere Cup.
You get to practice the pressure. Your parents are here, your family's here, your friends are here. There's a lot of attention on you, so it prepares you to elevate to the next highest level.
Our Gatorade Game Leaders takes a look at the incredible dominance of the Washington women's rowing program. 5-time NCAA champions, 15-time conference champions, and we're not just doing this at the collegiate level. The University of Washington has sent at least one rower to every single Olympics since 1980. And we are thrilled to welcome in women's rowing coach Yasmin Farooq to the show. Coach, we just showed some of our viewers a small snippet of what the Windermere Cup is all about, but we'd love it if you could expand on that a little bit. How impactful is that event, not just to your program, but to rowing as a whole?
Oh my gosh, the Windermere Cup is one of the spectacle events in the world in rowing. You've got the Olympics, you've got the World Championships, you've got the boat race, Oxford and Cambridge, and you've got the Henley Royal Regatta, and you got Windermere. So Windermere attracts an international team. We want to race against the best. The Seattle community said that's what they wanted. They wanted to see the dogs have to square off against someone that was really going to push our level. And the timing is just perfect because it's right before the Pac-12. Well, it used to be the Pac-12 championships for us, and now it's the Big Ten because this is our first one, and here we go. It was super awesome to have Indiana here, and we will see them again in the heats on Saturday.
And we'll get to those Big Ten championships in just a bit, but you said this is what Seattle wanted. And for those who are uninitiated, to see the rowing community and the fans that show up, you called Seattle in at least one occasion, and probably more often than that, Rowtown, USA. So describe to me what it's like on Montlake Cut when you're rowing the Windermere and you look to the side and the athletes get to see the turnout that is watching them perform.
It truly is like rowing in a stadium. You've got the greatest setting literally right behind the cut. And everyone knows why it's called that. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful settings in sports. And the cut is truly, you have over 5,000 people lining both sides and then on top of the Montlake Bridge. So as the rowers enter the cut, it's just purple and gold all over the place. Husky Nation, fully behind us. And then when you hit the last 250 meters, that final 1-minute sprint, the whole crowd is above you on the Montlake Bridge as well. So you truly are just surrounded by Husky fans.
And they got exactly what they wanted because every single boat won their respective races during this year's event. And this after a stretch, Yaz, in which your team was rowing multiple weeks in a row. So how impressed were you by the effort that you saw?
Man, that third weekend of racing in a row can be really hard, but we prepared for it. And, one of the things with moving to the Big Ten was that we knew we had to field 7 boats deep. It's the biggest conference championship, and we knew we had to be a deeper squad. So we raced 7 8s and 3 4s at the Windermere Cup, and I just feel like it was outstanding preparation, and I'm super excited about going into the championship this weekend.
So as that preparation has been done and you make the transition to your first ever Big Ten Conference Championship. What's the approach and the focus heading into this weekend?
Well, you know, the Big Ten Championship is the gateway to the NCAAs, and the team that wins it gets the automatic qualification spot. So that's what we're thinking about. Number one is to qualify, get that spot, and it's a point system. So we've got 7 events to score, and if we can get the highest number of points, then we will be able to secure that spot. And I say that respectfully because I think we're going to have some excellent competition. Rutgers is doing a really good job, and you know, Michigan, they had a tough start to the season, but we've seen that before, you know, and they tend to build towards the end just like we do. So expect them to be strong, and Ohio State and Indiana again. And it's just a great conference. We really couldn't ask for better preparation for the NCAAs.
And so with IU having been there for the Windermere Cup, there's obviously some familiarity with your team this year inside the Big Ten, but not as much familiarity as you have with the Big Ten. Of course, you rode at Wisconsin. You were a national champion. You were a team captain. You've since been inducted into the Wisconsin Hall of Fame. So for you, as kind of a Badger native, what was it like to get back into this conference as a head coach?
Well, I got to tell you, I didn't see it coming. But when it happened, I mean, I loved being in the Big Ten as a student athlete, and to get to come back to that conference is really special to me. I mean, when I was at Wisconsin, we competed with a lot of Washington women on the national team. You know, you talked about the legacy here at Washington, and that was true at Wisconsin as well. So a lot of these women, a lot of these alums here that support our program to this day were teammates of mine on the national team back in the 80s. And to have 2 UWs in the Big Ten, I think is kind of perfect, honestly.
You know, for as long as you've been doing this, Coach, both as a student athlete, as a rower, and then getting into the coach's profession, right before we started the interview, you said you just got off the water. I mean, it truly is maybe as much, if not more than any other sport, a way of life for those who do it, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we start the day around 6:30 in the morning, and then the second practice is after classes and often ends around 5 or 5:30 at night. So, yeah, rowing is a lifestyle sport, truly. And I mean, we start training in September, our team does, and the championships don't hit until May, but it really does take that long to prepare a team. There's a fall racing season and a spring racing season, and then a number of our student athletes will go on and compete on national team during the summer.
All right, Coach, I want to finish a little off the beaten path here. I understand your degree was actually in this field, in broadcast journalism, and I know that you've been an Olympic commentator for rowing at multiple Olympics for NBC. So you know kind of both sides of this question and this business. Everybody only focuses on Boys in the Boat because it's the most recent rowing movie that everybody's seen. But is there a rowing movie out there that accurately depicts what real life rowing is actually about?
Well, I gotta hand it to George Clooney. I mean, nobody took the cameras into the boat like he did. I mean, that really was a breakthrough, I think, for our sport, for fans to be able to see, you know, not only an incredible story that was written by Daniel James Brown, but also just an opportunity to see how hard it is to see, you know, you're watching it from the shore and it looks so peaceful and beautiful. He took the camera in the boat and he showed the effort and the strain that goes into propelling those boats and making them go as fast as possible. And I think he did a great job. So I'm grateful that they made that film. They took that book and made it into a film. Yeah,
great book, great movie as well. And a great conversation with Yas Farooq. Coach, great to meet you. Really appreciate your time. We wish you and the team the best of luck in your inaugural trip to the Big Ten Rowing Championships this coming weekend.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.